Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Focus on the Family Foundation Business Seminar Give to Gain. So I'll be reading about the guest speaker this afternoon. Dr. Hansatu Adegbite. I hope I'm not murdering the name. I really hope so. Affectionately known as Hansi, is a visionary leader whose life's work embodies institutional transformation, inclusive governance, and sustainable social impact. With over 2 decades of distinguished experience, Dr. Hansatu is a premier trailblazer in advancing women's economic empowerment and private sector engagement across Nigeria and the global stage. As a national consultant on private sector partnerships with UN Women and the immediate past executive director of WinBiz, she has systematically shattered barriers, strengthening women's leadership representation and economic inclusion at the highest levels. Her strategic acumen is sought after by both corporate entities and national governments. Dr. Hansatu has served on 2 Nigerian presidential committees, including her current role on the Presidential High-Level Advisory Council for Women and Girls, and lent her governance expertise to over 10 boards, chairing 5 of them. An alumnus of Harvard Business School, Business School Netherlands, and the University of Abuja, Dr. Hansatu seamlessly bridges grassroots impact with elite academic thought leadership. She serves as a faculty member and trainer on gender studies and inclusive leadership at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, and the Policy Innovation Center. Beyond her corporate and policy triumphs, Dr. Hansatu's leadership is deeply anchored in faith and service, having served in the body of Christ since 1988 in numerous foundational roles, from discipleship instructor to church board secretary. Her tireless advocacy has earned her prestigious accolades, including the Award of Excellence from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. Driven by her passion for mentoring and next generation, and inspired by her 2 adult sons, Dr. Hansatu continues to champion systemic change, ensuring women are not merely participants, but power brokers in governance and economic spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, I present to you Dr. Hansatu this evening. You're welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Please be seated. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the Focus on the Family Foundation, and specifically Reverend Mrs. Kanos for this invitation. I want to appreciate the organizing committee. They've been so good. I've been enjoying a lot of the hospitality of Jos and in the few hours that I've been here. I also want to thank Hadiza, who has been a track, in fact, when you say tracker, has been ensuring that she's tracking my movement to make sure that I don't cancel at the last minute. I want to appreciate all our awardees and all our special guests, as well as those of you that are here. You know, I always say that it is one thing to organize anything, but it's another thing for people to actually come. So that you are here, please give yourselves a round of applause. I am extremely humbled to be here, and what I just thought of today, considering the fact that we're talking business, because I didn't want to spiritualize things. We're already in church. So, Reverend Carlos, please forgive me, because I focused strictly on practical things. Because I have seen that the body of Christ, especially in Nigeria, we always think that prayer and fasting is the answer to everything. Meanwhile, there are principles in life that make things happen, and then you augment it with your prayer and fasting. There is no way I will carry a seed of a mango seed in my hand and be praying from morning till night, every day for 1 year, for the seed to produce fruit. There is a doing, and the doing is simple. You sow so that you will reap. But I've looked at one of the things that had worked, or should I say I had observed, even in church leadership, was I had looked at people that were zealous. They love God. They're serving. But they are struggling financially. Not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It goes on for 20 years and so on and so forth. So, in order to understand some things and some principles of what has worked, I didn't want to be giving American examples and all that. I wanted examples of what has worked in Nigeria. So that was what took me about 9 years ago to Lagos. I sat down and I asked myself a question. I said, where are the most commercialized cities in this nation? I wanted to go and get answers. In all your getting, get wisdom. So I wanted to go for worldly wisdom of world creation, professionalism, and so on and so forth. And so I sat down and I asked myself a question. Where are the commercial cities in this nation? Of course, Lagos, Kano, and in the east, those the highest commercial cities. And I just said to myself, well, I will go to Lagos. I was going to Lagos to learn. I was searching for an answer. And so that was what actually took me to Lagos. When I went to Lagos, it wasn't as if I had a plan. So it wasn't as if there was something waiting for me. But God that orchestrates, because sometimes in life, there must be movement. When you look at scripture, even though I said I wasn't going to do too much Bible, almost everybody had a movement. Whether it's Abraham, he moved. Joseph moved. Moses moved. They had to go and learn the principles of the world, and then they were also able to answer their calls. So when you look at most people, they were trained by the systems of the world, and then they excelled in fulfilling their call. And so that was why when Reverend invited me, I decided to look at the theme, which of course was Give to Gain, celebrating women's gifts, grace, and growth. And then I looked at a subset, which is unlocking your gifts for growth, influence, and grace. So that is what I'm going to focus on. And at the end of this session, what I just want us to collectively understand is, number one, we need to discover what we carry, because we are carriers, each and every one of us. Then we need to develop it with excellence, and then deploy it with grace. So discover what you carry, develop it with excellence, and deploy it with grace. Now, because of course there has been a focus on Give to Gain, which is our International Women's Day theme for 2026, and I want to appreciate the men in the room. I want to remind us that each and every one of us, we already carry a gift. There are things that we came with that are innate. Some people just know how to sing. There are some people at the age of 2, they can solve complex mathematical problems. So everybody has one gifting or the other. There's no gift that you say this is a big gift, this is a small gift. A gift is a gift, and it is innate. Now, before you can even unlock any gift as an individual, the first thing you must do is that you must recognize and even understand what that gift is. Now, I've said there are 4 categories. The first one is natural talents. Each and every one of us, we have it. Some people already know it from when they are young. Some discover it as they go along. But it is natural abilities that flow from you effortlessly. There are some people, when you give them the mic, just that, though before you know it, everybody is falling under all manner of melody and anointing. But there are some people, again, you give them that microphone, we are all closing our ears because that's not where their gifting is. So you find out that thing just flows naturally. And then you are very creative in that space. The other one is cultivated. So you weren't born with it, but you identified it as a skill that you want to cultivate because of its relevance, either in our society or its relevance to where your giftings are. So now let me give you a simple example. If you look at somebody like, and I'll give general examples, somebody like Fowles. Fowles, his father is a senior advocate of Nigeria. I know some of you may not know Fowles. He's a young chap well, I'll get to that. His father was a senior advocate, is a senior advocate of Nigeria. And as far as he's concerned, his son had to read law because he wants that legal profession to continue. Now, of course, if you are in your parents' house, they are the ones paying your fees and they are the ones feeding you. So you won't argue too much. I always tell people, choose your battles. When they are the ones feeding you and paying your fees, don't fight too much. So he went and read the law. They sent him abroad. He spent money. He read the law. Once he had satisfied the father's requirement of you must read law, he came back, gave the father the certificate, and now went for where his real talent is, which is music. He is known globally as a musician, but yet he is trained as a lawyer. On the flip side, you will see some people that have read something, but what they read, they amplified it by what they went to study. So I want to just re-emphasize that some skills are cultivated, and sometimes they're even cultivated by mistake. Some people fall into a profession through serving somebody, and before you know it, they gain interest in that thing. Then the lived experience. There are some things that come upon you based on the experience, the culture, the tradition, the family belief system, religion, everything. There are certain things we do not because technically if you wanted to do it, you would do it, but because it was sort of imposed on you. So you lived it, you grew up in it, so automatically it is a part of you. So you will find out that these lived experiences also include some of the pains, the trauma, and all those things that we have gone through. That is why you see that some people, it is their trauma that births purpose. And the reason that also happens is that it is easier for me to listen to you because you have gone through something than somebody teaching me from head knowledge. So people, sometimes when you are going through that thing, you think you are going to die. But the reality is that that thing is training you. When you look at Joseph, just think of it, was in a loving environment with his father, his brother, and so on and so forth. Overnight, you are listening to your own siblings arguing on killing you or not. And then think of it again. At the end of the day, he's rescued by one of the brothers, and then they sell him into slavery. Now imagine all of us sitting here. Somebody will just carry you and sell you and just go and drop you in Afghanistan or Iraq, because again, they took him to a land that he can't even speak the language. But you see, sometimes, just like I said, as painful as situations are, they are orchestrating us to where we need to be. Now, but listen to Joseph's situation. Apart from the fact that he was lied upon, a very significant part of his story was that he went to prison. Most people don't understand what it meant to go to prison. In prison, you are faced with the worst of society. Hardened criminals. So, in that prison, 3 things happened to Joseph. Number 1, when you are put in hot water, because those prisoners are like hot water, because he had to deal with such people, he had to build his people management skills. And prisoners are the hardest people to lead. But scripture tells us that he was even a leader in the prison. Now, the truth of the matter is that if you can lead prisoners successfully in a land that you don't even understand the language and customs that you had to learn over time, that is the type of lived experience that prepares you to now be on the top as a prime minister in that nation, because he has already dealt with the worst of the worst. So by the time you are in that leadership position as prime minister, you have already been established with the rudiments of leadership. You have dealt with the difficult people, you have dealt with all manner of characters. And so I want to also guide each and every one of us that there is no lost experience. Every experience is important. And I'm starting with this foundation because I'm taking you somewhere. And then there are unique perspectives. Now, unique perspectives is that there are sometimes that the way you see something is different from how every other person sees it. And because of the way you see it and analyze it differently, what usually happens is that you become a problem solver in an area. In this life, you must be known for something. You must be known for something. It is what you are known for that becomes your reference point. If you are not known for anything, you can't rise above a certain level. You are constrained. And so, whatever it is that, so we're all like vessels. The Bible says it, that we're all like vessels. Now imagine you have a bottle, you have a bucket, you have a tanker and all that. But the content is empty. Automatically what happens? You won't be able to pour out into anybody because there is nothing within. So one of the things that we need to observe for ourselves is that there are a lot of problems in society. The solution is inside this room. Every problem that exists, you are a solution to one of those problems. So, instead of us to always be complaining, one of the things we need to do is just calm down, identify, and then be a solution. And sometimes it takes a bit of time. So, sometimes people will say, okay, I have these gifts, but I really don't know them. How do I discover some of these things that are already in it? Because remember, before you can grow, before you can have impact, before you can even be a leader of influence, and leadership is not position, leadership is influence. So it doesn't mean you need a platform and a position to be standing and everybody is seeing you. You can be leading from where you are. I recall, and sometimes we underestimate the influence that one person can have in a community. I recall when we were talking about a woman that was a housewife, and she was in Texas then, in USA, and she just had a burden for Texas, and so she used to pray. Her own job was just prayer. She didn't have any other thing, but she had a burden for that city. And so she would pray, oh. And then when she feels a release, she will move to another city. But before she moves, she will see that a church or a ministry or something has been planted. And when you look at US today, this was somebody that laid the foundation then, but when you look at US today, a lot of the big, large churches are in Texas, because somebody paid the price. That was her own assignment. So the issue is that your own assignment doesn't have to be loud. People may not even necessarily know your name, but it should be significant enough to make a difference. So identify what just flows naturally for you. What others always commend you for is also a clue. Then what is it that energizes you? That when they say do this thing, for you it's not a chore. In fact, before they say do it, you say I'm already there. And then what are those problems that you find? Those things that you cannot stand to see happen. Or when you see somebody going through that thing, you are almost bleeding as if it is happening to you. So, most of the time, our gifts are locked away. Because if our gifts, especially the gifts of the people in the church, if our gifts were not locked away, we will not be facing the depth of problem that we're facing today. Because I'm going to also tell you some of the strategies that have worked for different kinds of professionals. And it is clear. So let me give you an example of one of those things. If you study the Jews, Indians, Lebanese, all those sort of community-based people, or should I say tribes, there are two things they don't joke with. When they are setting up an organization, a business, whatever it is, no matter how small, they do a very simple thing. I will come in and I will bring one of my brothers. We will start together. As we grow, we'll bring another person in. As we grow, we'll bring another person in. And then once they have run that unit successfully, they will leave one of the original people there to be running it, and then go out and go and plant the same system in another place. And because all of them have built expertise, each of them can go and head a different one. So what they do is, it's almost like a cell system. The difference with the church is that we expend all our energy on spiritual things. And then we ignore the business, politics, all those things that are our pain points today. When people were joining political parties 20, 30 years ago, we were in the church praying and fasting. Most Christians were praying and fasting. Now we're all shouting, leaders, leaders, leaders. When you had the opportunity, go and be a member, go and understand politics. We were not interested. Now we're being ruled the way that all of us are crying in most cases. But when we had the opportunity to occupy those positions, we did not. And for those that occupied early, they are the authorities now, because they have paid the price over the years. And it's the same thing in business. And the difference again in business on how these other people run their businesses. When we set up a business, before you know it, you have put a sales girl there. Then you just leave the sales girl. But have you noticed that if you enter a supermarket or a restaurant that was started by a Lebanese or this or that, they are always there. If they're not there, another of their people is there. So what they do is that they build it in such a way that it is so sustainable, you can't cheat them. And then even if they're not going to be there at any point in time, they will build a system that will make sure that system is operating as if they were there. So those are the things that we should have done. You are a good accountant in the church. You are good in this, you are good in that. Let's form something. Let's establish it. Let's rope in some people. Let's mentor them. Let's train them. Then let us build a system around that. By that time, you'll be employing even the unemployable. You'll be building capacity. And so those are some of the areas that we had lost out on early, but we are still finding our way. So people's gifts are locked away because, number one, a lot of us have fear. Fear of failure, for example. Always judging yourself. The minute they tell you something, you have already given it a negative thing. Let me give you an example. When you see an opportunity, let's assume right now I just come and say, there's this opportunity and this, they're going to train you, you will have skills, immediately you finish, the first thing that will come to your mind is, I can't afford it. That's what most people do. Before you even see the possibility that you can gain from this thing, the first thing you will say is that, I don't have money, I can't afford it. But I have come to learn from business that you don't have to have money to leverage on some opportunities, you first have to have the desire to do it. And I can give you countless examples even with myself. But I can also tell you that sometimes, even the Bible has said, ask and you shall receive. There's sometimes they will advertise a conference, and you will see everybody say, I beg, I can't afford it, let me just leave it. But then, do you know, some people will send an email and say, I've seen this conference. Can I come and volunteer and serve so that I can be a part of the conference? They are not saying, I don't have money, but that is really the issue. They don't have the money. But they've already looked for a leeway in. And all they'll just say is that, I want to come and be a volunteer. I received such emails, and I always, in fact, some will say, it has always been my desire to attend this conference, but I can't afford it. And we will now give the person complimentary and say, come as a mentee. But people are taking action. See, faith is move. You move as if you have it. See, let me tell you how life is. Life works with movement. If you watch a relay race, you know when the person from another leg is coming to give you the baton, you are not standing like this to say, bring it. You are moving to collect it. So there must be movement. When the baton hits your hand, then there's acceleration. So one of the things we need to understand is faith is move. There must be movement. If there's no movement, you will be stagnant. And when you are stagnant, we all know what the result is. I also want to remind us of something. Our thought process. All this, I came from this, nobody will help me. You are daydreaming, waiting. If only somebody can come and dash me 100,000 or 1 million, they will know what I'm made of. They should just dash me. They will see that I can do something. Let me tell you something. Everything you feed grows. Whatever you starve dies. So, every negative thought system and pattern, starve it. The brain is such a wonderful organ that it cannot have two opposite thoughts at the same time. It is either you are feeding something or you are starving it. So those of you that are self-sabotaging yourselves, one of the things you need to do, because a lot of us, we are in default mode of always complaining. The first thing you need to do to break the spirit of complaining and always seeing the negative side of things is to always see the positive and have something to be thankful for. No matter what is not working, no matter how bad it is, there is something that is working. So instead of you to always focus on what is not working, train yourself to focus on what is working and appreciate what is working. And when you begin to train yourself that way, no matter what hits you, your shock absorbers are standing because you know that this too will pass. Now, I said to you that you don't have to have money to achieve some things. I'll give you an example. When I wanted to do my MBA, I had wanted to do it. And then I now saw an advert in the newspaper for business school Netherlands. When I saw it, I didn't say I don't have money. I got the application and I just filled it and I sent it, knowing I did not have 1 naira in my pocket. And they had a deadline for payment. So what did I do? I was watching the deadline. I had mentioned it to only one person that I had a desire to go for this course. And the night before the expiration date of that course, I took the admission letter. It was a midweek service. So I came to church. I put the paper on the floor and then I stood on it. I said, Father, you have told us that everything is under our feet. So I stood on it. I said, this school fees is a small thing for you. And so when praise and worship started, I danced on that admission letter. And the next day was the deadline for payment. But my desire to do that MBA was so high that for me, I only saw that this school, I must do it. The next morning, somebody called me and said, oh, somebody just gave me this amount. And I know you have been talking about this school. And I knew the person didn't have money. And the money the person got was the exact money I needed for school fees. In fact, the person would have said, let me just give you half. The person sent me the entire amount, and that is how I paid for my MBA. So, it was not from my pocket, but I got that degree. Stop limiting yourself. It's not that this woman has come from Abuja and is telling us, I am telling you practical things. Harvard, same thing. I was on Facebook about 4 years or 5 years ago, and I just saw a Harvard course. I just said, and it was always my desire. And I just said to myself, this Harvard course will be good for me. When I saw the money, I said, okay, it will take about 10 years for me to even save for this thing. Now, what I did is what I want to tell you. Whatever you cannot afford today, keep it in view. Don't cancel it, just keep it in view. Keep it in view in business means we are not discarding this thing. We still have our eyes on it, but it may not be for now. 2 months later, Harvard sent out a notice to all the alumni worldwide and told them to nominate one person from their country. Listen to me, God can orchestrate things because of you. I said, remember I told you that I was saying to take me 10 years. I said in 2 months. I didn't even know that was happening. All I just know is that I came back from work one day and somebody called me and said, do you have a US visa? Now listen to me. Another thing you need to note is preparation. Don't get something when you need it. Get it before you need it. That is preparation. I had a US visa, not because I was planning to go for US, but I just said, let me even have it. Are you getting me? Some of you, when it was almost nothing to register a business, you didn't register. Now, things are even getting more complex. When even getting a passport was easy, you didn't get it because in your mind, you have not seen the possibility of you entering a plane and traveling. Do you get my point? So, the only question they asked me is, do you have a US visa? And I said yes. And they said, somebody will call you tomorrow. The next morning I get a call and they say, congratulations. You have been nominated by the Harvard alumni to go to Harvard on a full scholarship. Now, there's a reason I'm sharing this. My desire to go to Harvard was 15 years before that time. I had always had it. Another desire I always had was to work for the United Nations. It came. Some of you here don't even understand. I have been a housewife. I was a housewife for 5 years. So there is that stage. But in my mind, I didn't see myself as a housewife. Are you getting this thing? This battle, this is the place you will fight it first. The Bible says, what do you see? Hey, listen to me. When we're talking about sight, there is insight, there is foresight, there is hindsight. Are you listening to me? So when they say, what do you see? We're talking about, first of all, what are you seeing inside? And it must be consistent. Because if you don't see it, you won't walk towards it. And when the opportunity comes, you will miss it because you weren't seeing. Your sight was not there. Then, hindsight is, had I known, if I had known. We don't want that if I had known. If I had known, I should have done this. If I had known, I should have done that. It will happen. And failure and mistakes are part of the process. It will happen. But is foresight not better? Where instead of you to always be doing in hindsight, it's better for you to be looking forward and say, thank God you know where you're going to. Are we together? Now, I am telling you these things because this is Nigeria. So I'm not giving you examples. I'm even talking about things that have happened to me. And I have seen the principle work for people. Now let me tell you the other thing I want to say, because I said it earlier, that you must be known for something. When the Harvard board in Nigeria wanted to nominate somebody, all they did was that they asked their board members, can you nominate a male or female in the social sector in this Nigeria that is doing some significant work, that is selfless? Are you listening to me? And I was informed that out of the number of board members, 7 people submitted my name. Till today, I don't know who they are. Because what they just did was that they just asked in their network, can you nominate somebody? If people don't know you for something, who will nominate you? All this, I just like my space. I like my space. See, we have awardees here. It's because they are known for something. That is why today, they are being recognized by tomorrow. Are you getting it? And I don't want you to think this thing is about education. There are people that are billionaires that didn't go to school. So don't start limiting your mind with education. I know a woman that was frying puff-puff. With puff-puff, she has educated all her children, built house. So it has nothing to do with your level. It has to do with what you see. Are we together? You can see I'm very passionate. So, the first thing I want to also tell you, another thing I want to tell you is that you need to develop a professional or career identity or business identity for yourself. And I also want to talk to housewives. Even as a housewife, especially some housewives that even your husband will not allow you to do anything. Today, internet is free in the sense that it's just you and your computer or your phone. You can make money digitally without leaving your house. There are people that have educated themselves by just watching YouTube. There is no skill on this earth you want to learn that you cannot learn from even YouTube or Google or whatever. So, but the only thing that will drive you is if you see something. Are we together? You need to see something. And then for those that will think it's late, you can mentor. You can see, there is a role you will play. Let me tell you something. When we die, every single one of us seated here, after the 4th generation, so now that we are alive, we know a generation after us, we may know a 2nd generation, maybe a 3rd. After the 4th generation, now that we are alive, when we die, after the 4th generation, no other person on this earth would have met us physically. Because the generations that we are alive to see, by the 4th generation, nobody on this earth would have had an encounter with you after the 4th generation. The only thing that will prove that you came to this earth are the lives you touched or the product, service, or gift that you left behind. That is why some people have died over 40 years ago. Their songs are still reigning because of what they left behind. And you don't have to leave many. Let 2 people just hit their chest and say, because of you, I made it. Are we together? So, to develop a professional and career identity, you start with your values. What are those things that everybody knows that these are the things you stand by? What are your belief systems? Do you understand? What are the principles that guide you? Everybody, you have to have it. Every business has their values. You have to define your own values. Your own values are those things that you will tell yourself that me as an individual, this one, mba, if anything is going to challenge these values, I'm not interested. And so, those are the kind of things that when you are not in the room and your name is mentioned, somebody will say, lie, because you have lived those values that people can, it becomes tangible for association to your name. Are we together? The other thing is your skills and strengths. In this dispensation now, skills has a higher currency than education. Education is very important too, but skills is the thing that has currency. Let me prove it to you. Shebi, they've started World Cup. Just to kick ball, it's just skill. Oh. The money some people are receiving, till you do your pension, you have not seen 0.01% of it. Skill versus education. Are you getting it? Now we are going into the AI dispensation, digitalization, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Some of you are hearing these things, you are not even looking at it. You are not even interested. Just out of curiosity, even begin to ask questions. Even if you don't know it, ask those that know it. Are you listening? You see, it is your responsibility to build your capacity. It is no other person's responsibility. Because your capacity is relevant for your tomorrow. So don't be comfortable where you are. Your stories, your experience, pains, victories, successes, as I've said. And then the role you have. Seeth a man diligent. When they give you small assignments, even here, are you reliable? Because if you are not reliable here, you won't be reliable outside. So, build diligence in your contributions. Now, as I'm almost concluding, I just want to say something. When you are looking at your core as a human being, because one of the things that affects a lot of us is we are confused. We don't really know what our purpose is. And unfortunately, we also have a system in Nigeria that has not made it easy. You know, our educational system, for example, most of us, when we're growing up, they used to force us, just as I was saying, to cram to pass. So we cram it, we write it like that, and we pass. Abroad, they teach them to be critical thinkers, to solve problems, to apply knowledge to existing problems. So because of that, the system is already preparing you to be a problem solver. And that is why abroad, for them, there is no job that is a small job. There are all manner of jobs. In fact, do you know there's even a job now called professional hugger? Because people are always lonely, you pay them to come to your house just to hug you. So that, and people are paying. Are you getting my point? That is what happens to a system that somebody sat down and said, there's so many depressed people, oh. All they just need is a bit of hug. Somebody turned it into a business. He said, help me see wahala. Whereas here, they're hugging you every hour. Somebody is paying you to collect that hug. So, the intersection is what I want to point out to you. There are 4 things. Number 1, what do you love? That's the first one. Now, what you love is fed by passion. Do you understand? What you love to do, you are naturally passionate about it. So, passion feeds what you love. And apart from what you love, the next one is, what are your strengths and skills, as I said. Now, your strengths and skills address profession. So, what you love, passion, your strengths and skills, profession, then what can you be paid for? What is it that you have that people will pay you money for? That is your vocation. That is your vocation. Now, then the last one is, what does the world need that I have? Because if you have all these things, the question is, what does the world, what does my community, what does my space where I am, what do people need that I have? That becomes your mission. The intersection of these 4 things is what will define your purpose. And it is discovered. For some people, they're lucky. from a young age or from inception or whatever, they already know. In fact, some, before they are born, their kingship is already waiting for them. Like royal family, they already know you are going to be king. So they've already defined it for you. So from the day you are born, they're already training you as a king. But some of us, you need to discover it. You need to look at the activities that, when they say, what do you love? There are certain things that when you are doing, you forget time. You can even be there for 15 hours. You won't even notice. The type of things you can talk so passionately about, all those kind of things, what you would do if it was free. Nobody has to pay you. You are willing to do it. Are we together? Then, what you are good at, other people will be struggling with something, but you are finished it. So, what the world needs are the problems that, when everybody else is seeing problem, your mind is seeing solution. I can do this, I can solve this, I can do this, like that. So, I want to remind you, even business, you don't need money now, today, to start business. Let me give you an example. You people are in Jos. I know a lady in this Jos. All she did was open an Instagram space. She went to meet some farmers that sell vegetables. She opened an Instagram page and started advertising vegetables, fresh vegetables. She's ready to cargo it to any state. She doesn't have the product. She doesn't have money. But she has talked to the farmers. I will help you sell. She adds her commission. Her platform for sale is social media. Before you know it, people were ordering Lagos, Abuja, this one, that one. Ordering. And then she started making money. I don't want you to limit yourself with, I don't have money. I don't have money. You can be a middleman to anything. But the important thing is, think it through and start something. So, I have said it. You have your gift, but you have 3 destinations: growth, influence, and grace. Growth, you must develop that gift in you. Stir up the gift that is in you. We must develop it. Because today I've just said I'm laying a foundation. You must pursue that gift, right? Then you must remember that your gift will open doors for you. Your gift, let me tell you something. There are 2 things that are the most important things when it comes to your relationship with people: information and opportunity. People are your greatest resource. You can be sitting next to an opportunity that is $1 million opportunity that you can do, but because you don't know it exists, you can't leverage it. So, one of the things I will recommend to you, there are online and offline communities. Wherever you have a passion, join a community. Do you understand? Join a community in that area. If I'm a lawyer, I'll join the Nigerian Bar Association. If I'm a market woman, I will join Market Women Association. If I am an akara fryer, Mama go say, even if there's no community, I will form one in my community. Because there is power in networks. I can tell you that from experience. In fact, sometimes even in the UN and other organizations that have worked on the board, an opportunity will come with resources. They'll be saying, can anybody recommend either an NGO or this or that is into this, that has this number of members? We'll start cracking our head. It is the people that amplify themselves that will pop up. So, don't joke with communities because opportunities comes to them. And then your gift becomes held in trust. That is, you are now going to use your gift to help others. I will say, when you have an opportunity on any table, don't think of only yourself. Expand the table with more chairs to invite others to also join you on that table. So, as I conclude, I think I've said that like 3 times, but I'm serious now. Remember that your gift is a seed. Your gift is a seed. And you know that seed produces fruit to serve, to benefit others. So make sure you refine your gift, you practice things, you get feedback. It's not everything that is fight. They tell you that, madam, you're a bit too aggressive. Hey, no, not everything is fight. Take feedback, learn from it, grow from it. Give yourself assignments to stretch you. Then for your gifts of influence, you must be visible. That's why I keep on saying you must be known for something. Solve problems. And the bigger problems you solve, the more influential you become. Build a platform or join anyone. Then identify mentors, sponsors, people that can help you get there. Some of them, follow them online. Some read their books, listen to them. Whatever it is, learn from those that are ahead of you. But I also want to say that you also need your colleagues. Iron sharpeneth iron. All of us, we have 3 categories of people. There are people ahead of us that we're trying to catch up to. There are people behind us that are trying to catch up to us. And there are people that are on the same line with us that we're moving together. So you must always remember that no matter how disadvantaged you think you are 600 times better than some people that are not where you are today. So keep moving. Don't be static. Are we together? Guard your character, and when you have opportunity, serve and give generously. I just want to say that it's all about first discovery, then developing, then deploying, and then multiplying. It is when you get to that point of multiplying, you are teaching, you are transferring what you know. I have been frying akara in this corner for how many years? And then I decide to say, oh, come, why can't I help other women? Before I know it, I've built other akara businesses. Do you understand? Because you don't want to be the only local champion there. You want other women to also be able to feed themselves. So please, I want to just encourage each of us. Discover your gift and name it. When you name it, use it. And when you use it, give it. Give it to others, so that you are not the only local champion benefiting from this thing. And so I will end with a quote that I came across. Well, I formed it. I started the quote, but then I formed it. I want you to know that every seat you find yourself on is a seat of opportunity. So don't waste it. When you have an opportunity to sit on a seat of influence, talk for people, whatever it is, don't waste it. A seat gives you a place. A place gives you a platform. A platform gives you a voice. A voice gives you influence. Influence gives you opportunity. Opportunity gives you options. Options gives you actions. Action leads to transformation. And transformation builds reputation. Reputation builds your legacy. I think I'm going to stop here because tomorrow is another day. But I just wanted to drop this as an appetizer for our session tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Please, you can do better. You can do better. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. Please be seated. That has been Dr. Hansatu Adegbite, the National Consultant, Private Sector Partnership, UN Women. One more time, give her a round of applause. There are so many talking points and so many matters arising from our talk this evening. It is what you are known for that in turns become your reference points. That is why today, if you mention a particular name, what comes to mind is football. Ronaldo.
Maradona too.
Maradona.
Didier Drogba.
Messi.
The list goes on and on.
It goes on and on. And so she left us with a quote. And I will want to set the ball rolling as we go through questions and answers. By starting this way, what are you known for? Once your name is mentioned, what first comes to mind? And so it is on this point that I would like to quickly give room to just a few people for questions and answers. For the want of time, can we give room to just three?
I'm here for you.
She's here for us. Please appreciate her with a round of applause. And so since she's very generous to us, maybe we give room to 5. All right? So all you need to do is to raise up your hand. Just signify by raising up your hand if you have a question that you may want to ask. All right? 1. I'm sure Dr. Kumsua will help me take note of these people. 1. Who is the lucky second slot going to? 2. All right? I think we stop at 3. So, third person. Who again? 4th. Now the last one. 5th. So let's give them a round of applause. All right. The rule of the game this afternoon is simple. Keep your questions simple and short. Just go straight to the question. But first, you will introduce yourself and tell us exactly what you do. And this should be done, since we have plenty time, let's give them plenty time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds. Thank you. Number 1.
Praise God. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Okay, my name is Patient also. Actually, I just want to thank God that I made it to this meeting. My question, it's not really much. I want you to just help me say the topic again. That's one. And the last one, I didn't get, though. You mentioned 4 things, talking about developing, deploying, and multiplying. There were 4, so I didn't get the last one. I actually enjoyed myself. That's the last part where you talk about discover your gift and name it. There were 4 things that you mentioned. And just help me with the topic. I think it will be okay for me. Thank you very much.
So please, can we have our guest speaker's laptop very quickly? So can we have the second person? Number 2. Dr. Kunswa, who is number 2? Number 2. Thank you. Please, can you pass the microphone to her?
Thank you so much, man, for taking time out to pour into us this evening. Okay, my question is, in the course of your teaching, you said that you gave an example, and I would like to ask from that example that if, for instance, there is a conference coming on and you would like to be a part of that conference, then what to do is you ask or volunteer. Okay, my question now is, what if you volunteer for like maybe twice, 3 times, and all you get is no? In that case or instance, what do you do? Do you just forget about it, or you keep asking? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister. Please, let's give them a round of applause. I think we'll take care of those 2 questions before we go to the other 3. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Madam Patience, the topic was unlocking your gifts for growth, influence, and grace. Unlocking your gifts for growth, influence, and grace. Then that last gift circle that I was talking about, I said you first discover. So number 1 is discover. Number 2 is develop. Number 3 is deploy. And then number 4 is multiply. Yeah. My sister that asked about volunteering, I said something. Okay, maybe I didn't say it here. I have been an avid volunteer for 27 years in different organizations. If I see an organization and I believe in their vision and what they're doing, I volunteer. Do you understand? Now, when I said, if you want to attend a conference and you can't afford it, but you want to be in the room, you choose to volunteer. So, in volunteering, you are in the room now. So, you are in the, because the focus of that strategy is that you want to be in the room. You want to hear what they're saying. You want to meet people. So you now, when you get into the room, as you are volunteering, are you taking advantage of the networks there, listening to what they're saying? Do you understand? Listening to what they're teaching, what the speakers are talking about, and so on and so forth. So those are the kind of things I have done. And I've also given people the opportunity to enjoy that. But what they do with when they come into the room is up to them. There is a lady that came for a conference, and we were saying, if you come for a conference, don't leave with just the person you know. Meet at least 1 or 2 people. She was sitting there. She was a young architect. She was sitting there. The lady on her right, she just turned and introduced herself as an architect at that conference. Some people, when they say, turn and greet the person on your left and right, you just keep quiet. You just be facing your front. Do you know that that lady, after that conference, gave her first 1 billion contract in Ikoyi to design and build properties? I know the lady personally. That is, she was telling me herself that she was a young girl, but that an elderly woman she sat next to, that she just said, I'm an architect, or blah, blah, blah. That one now said, well, I know somebody. That one now picked phone, called somebody. They told her, come to the office, blah, blah, blah. That's how she got her first. She had never seen 100 million, no. They gave her 1 billion contract. So you get the point. Get into the room. What you do with it is your business. But if you send them emails and nobody answers you, they don't give you, move on to another organization. There's no law that you must die there. You move on to other organizations. Yeah.
Thank you. Please, can we give her a round of applause? In another word, you need to be flexible. All right, number 3.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maria. I have a question. You said something about discover your gifts and hone it, or something like that. What if you find out you have multiple gifts? How do you handle that?
So, most of us have multiple things that we're good at, but there's that primary one. So let me give you an example. I'm just going to give you 1 or 2 examples so that you get the drift. Etonu Elumelu was a banking officer. That was what he was. He entered the bank as a young guy, as a banking officer. he rose in the ranks, right, and became a CEO. Today he's the chairman of UBA. But as chairman of UBA now, bank, Tony Elumelu has gone into, he has property, he has insurance, he has HMO, in fact, he has a hotel, he has oil and gas, and so on and so forth. Do you understand? But his core was banking. Everybody knows that. So from banking, he pivoted into entrepreneurship. So your core is still rooted as your central point, but it can grow into different things. You can be a serial entrepreneur, but some people, they are known for only one thing. So express the gifts in different ways, but let your core direct you. Use the knowledge of your core, do you understand, to build the others with the right capacity. I don't know if you have answered your question. Thank you.
All right, you can diversify,
Yeah.
but don't leave out the primary that is giving birth to the secondary.
Exactly.
Please, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. Question number 4.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I really thank my big auntie for inviting me. I've tried to look you up on social media. I don't know where I can follow you, because Instagram, okay, I was actually looking out at LinkedIn. So,
But I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
okay,
Just Hansatu Adegbite.
okay, all right. That's, by the way, that's not my question. So my question is this. You talked about passion. You talked about your gifts, what you do without nobody paying you. You just find yourself doing that thing. And you also have a job, and to some extent, you've kind of find your place in that job. But you get to a point that deep within you, you know you've stayed on this side of this Jordan for too long. Now, what are those practical steps that you can advise somebody to be able to jump? Because somehow this job pays the bill,
Of course.
and you still kind of find some satisfaction in it, some sort. But like you said, deep within you, you know that it's more. How can such a person, or how can me, so I'm talking about me, so what practical step would you advise to, give you that leap to jump?
Thank you.
I should go ahead. Okay. So, I told you that there must be an intersection of the four. But let me say one thing that you have actually pinpointed. Each of them, as a standalone, doesn't give you full satisfaction. That's the honest truth. It will solve one aspect of the problem, but it doesn't give you a holistic peace of mind around it. That's why it's your core. So, when it comes to passion, not passion, when it comes to what you love, that is fueled by passion, it gives you satisfaction, because it's your passion. You will have satisfaction, but there's a but. In most cases, that you love it doesn't mean it will feed you. It will pay your bills. Do you understand? It is your vocation that pays the bills. Now, your vocation is paying the bills. However, if it is not your primary call, that dissatisfaction you are feeling is part of the result of vocation. Then when you look at, what's the other one? Your skills and strength. Your skills and strength, right? You are comfortable with them. It's part of you. It's your strength. You are comfortable with them. But as a standalone, they always give you a feeling of something is missing. Because a skill needs to be applied. Do you get? And then the last one, which is what do people want from you, which is your mission. When you get to that stage, that is when you have that full, because it's where fulfillment comes from, because you are giving of yourself and you are hearing the impact stories from others. So what should you do? Number one, you know that thing that people say, when you find your, just resign, don't try it. Because vocation has a place to be paying bills until you are sure of pivoting, and that pivoting is going to augment. What I always recommend, but I also want you to know that one cap doesn't fit all. Be on a journey of soul searching, right? For example, I always encourage people, do personality tests. There are so many free personality tests online. There are some that are paid for. So do personality tests. Some of these personality tests are also around passion, work, profession, and so on and so forth. Just so that you begin to get a better understanding of yourself. Try to balance the knowledge of these other elements I've talked about. But then, when you now identify your core, pivot gradually. So for example now, if you have a job that is satisfying you, but in your mind and all your research, you have realized that cakes are your true passion, what you will do is that start with doing your cake as a side hustle. Do you understand? So it will begin to bring a bit of satisfaction to you because you are doing it. If you like, you want to even start training one or two people in cakes when you have become an expert. Do you understand? But you are still living your vocation that is feeding you. But a time will come where your cake business may be feeding you on almost an equal or at par with your vocation. When you get to that stage, if you want, then you can now say, oh, I now want to leave this and face this one. Do you understand? But the only thing I want to always tell each and every one of us, always make sure that in your search, you have something that is feeding you. Because when you don't have that, that's where frustration sets in.
Thank you very much. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Let's go to the last question.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
There's no way Senior Hansatu will be in Jos and I will not be there. And thank you. What she just said was an advice she gave me 2 years ago when I was trying to make decisions about transitioning in jobs. But my question today is about relationships. You have mentioned that we need people ahead of us, those at the same level with us and those behind. Personally, I am one person that before now, I don't mind who is on the road. If the tax needs to be done, it has to be done. And so, unfortunately, in that mindset, I had crushed people around me. And today I'm reaping the effect and I'm trying to outgrow and learn from that. But then, how do I manage these relationships? The ones in the front, my level, and behind, so that my relationships are not fake or transactional. How do we manage this? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kanen. So Kanen went to my secondary school, Air Force Girls Military School in Jos with Hadiza. And she's our current vice president of our alumni. So thank you for coming. Let me answer that with a quote, first of all. There's a quote that guides me, and it has guided me for many years. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Now, when people come into your life for a reason, they're there for a reason. You go to a doctor because you have a problem. That doctor is in your life because you have a medical problem. Do you understand? So it's a reason. Your relationship technically is a reason kind of relationship, even though he has your medical history. People also come to your life for a season. So if you look back, there are people you went to nursery school with. Till you die, you will never see them. But there was a time that every day you were seeing them in class for about how many years? Do you understand? So they were seasonal. And throughout your lifetime, you will face reason, season, and lifetime people. Lifetime people are your ride or die. They are those ones that they know you in and out, but are not judgmental. You know yourselves. In fact, some of them, you don't have to talk every day, but when you jam, you jam. And most of those categories, they are just about 2 or 3 in your lifetime. Do you understand? Now, the mistake a lot of us make is you pick information that is for lifetime people and you share with a reason or seasoned person. A reason or seasoned person can't handle your information. And that is when all manner of pain comes into the relationship, because you put them on a pedestal that they did not belong. So I will always say, try and categorize people so that you don't fall into unnecessary injury, as they say, injury time. So that's the first one. The second thing I want to say to you is that any relationship that drains you, that makes you feel burnt out, that makes you lose energy, or anything that relationship that brings out the negative in you, it's always better to gradually disengage. Sometimes gradually, sometimes if you want, immediately. But the only thing I will say is that when you are disengaging, don't disengage with fights, because nobody knows tomorrow. And what I've come to realize is that the person you thought did not matter, tomorrow will be sitting on a fire that is the most important thing that you need. So disengage with wisdom, so that tomorrow you leave the door open, you can walk in. But what I will always say is that always make sure that, because you asked how, the relationships that energize you, that when you sit with people, you live a lot. Relationships that make you laugh. Laughter is very important, especially in a dispensation like this, that every time you turn around, it's bad news, kidnap, this one, that one. You need people that will make you laugh. And when you don't have people that will make you laugh, look for things that make you laugh, comedy, cartoons, whatever it is, so that amidst all this pain, you are laughing a bit. Do you understand? So those are sort of how you manage that. I hope I've answered your question. Yes, and then the last thing I will say, my brother, is please, when you are volunteering, don't volunteer and burn out. You will not do yourself any good. Volunteering needs to be strategic. Volunteer where you can add value, but also identify organizations that you align with what they're doing. Do you understand? So that some of you will go and volunteer here, volunteer here, volunteer here, volunteer here. You burn out. Then after some time, you just say, all these people themselves. But that energy that you were using up and down, instead of you to use it for business or for professional or career development, you have burnt yourself out. Money is not in your pocket. You are tired. Some of you are having health issues. And at the end of the day, who you help?
Volunteer wisely. And if there is any relationship you feel is not adding value to your life or to your business, don't just shut the door. Close the door gently. Please, can you put your hands together for her? Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. I think she deserves a standing ovation. I think she deserves a standing ovation. Thank you, Dr. Hansatu Adegbite, the National Consultant Private Sector Partnership, UN Women. We truly, truly appreciate this huge sacrifice.